In 1971, the United States held $10 billion in gold reserves. It owed foreign governments $80 billion in gold-backed dollars. The official explanation was a temporary measure. It has now lasted 54 years. Temporary is an interesting word for a system that rebuilt the global economy around itself. By the end of this video, you will understand the exact mechanism, the Petrodollar System that replaced gold, weaponized oil, and is now being tested in real time. Your petrol costs more than it did 3 years ago. Your imported goods cost more. Your mortgage rate moved. Every one of those things connects to a 1974 agreement most people have never heard of. This is not an accident. This is a system. And this video is about how it works. Most people understand the oil price story like this. Supply goes down, prices go up. Geopolitics adds a risk premium. Basic economics. That is not wrong. But it is incomplete, because what that explanation leaves out is the currency layer. Oil is not priced in dollars because dollars are strong. Dollars are strong because oil is priced in dollars. To understand why, we need to go back to 1944. 44 nations met in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. The outcome? A new global financial order. Every currency would be pegged to the dollar. The dollar alone would be convertible to gold at $35 per ounce. The United States became the anchor of the global financial system. Every other economy priced itself against that anchor. This is why your grandfather's savings held their value. The anchor was real. It was gold. But by the late 1960s, the United States was running deficits it could not cover with gold. Vietnam, the Great Society programs, military spending. The numbers no longer worked. On August 15, 1971, the U.S. government ended gold convertibility. Unilaterally. No international agreement, no vote, just a television address. Every dollar held by every central bank on Earth instantly became an IOU backed by nothing but trust. The Bretton Woods system was dead. But the dollar's global role survived because of what happened next. The mechanism that replaced gold was hiding in plain sight. It was called the petrodollar, and it was hiding in plain sight. In 1974, the U.S. Treasury sent a delegation to Riyadh. The arrangement they negotiated was simple and structurally brilliant. Saudi Arabia would price its oil exclusively in U.S. dollars. In return, the United States would provide military security and weapons. In one agreement, the dollar found its new anchor, not gold, oil. Here is how the mechanism works. Every nation that wants to buy oil must first acquire dollars. To acquire dollars, they must either export goods to the U.S. or borrow dollars from the international system. Either way, global demand for dollars is permanently sustained. The petrodollar system is not a conspiracy. It is an incentive structure, one that made the dollar indispensable to every economy on Earth, regardless of America's fiscal condition. Here is the number that changes everything. In 1977, the United States ran a current account deficit of $14 billion. By 2023, that number was $905 billion. Any other nation running deficits of that scale would face a currency collapse and an IMF intervention. The United States has not, because the petrodollar system creates a structural floor of global dollar demand that insulates American deficits from normal market consequences. That mechanism is never discussed in mainstream coverage, because it would require explaining who benefits from its continuation. The system held for 50 years, but it is now being tested in 3 simultaneous places. First, China and Russia have begun settling bilateral oil trades in non-dollar currencies. The volume is still small, the direction is not. Second, Iran. Iran has been excluded from the dollar system since 1979. That exclusion is a feature of petrodollar architecture, not a side effect of geopolitics. Dollar exclusion is the sanction. Third, the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's daily oil supply passes through a waterway 33 kilometers wide. Iran controls the northern coastline. A closure of the Strait of Hormuz is not just an energy crisis. It is a test of whether the petrodollar system can survive a rupture in the physical infrastructure it depends on. But this raises a question nobody in Washington wants answered. If the oil cannot flow, can the dollar still demand it? Here is what petrodollar fragmentation means for your financial life. Not in theory, in mechanism. If more oil trades settle outside the dollar, global demand for dollars falls. When demand for a currency falls, its purchasing power erodes. This is not the same as inflation caused by printing money. It is inflation caused by the world needing fewer of your dollars. Those are different mechanisms. They require different responses. And the tools your central bank uses, interest rate adjustments, quantitative easing, were designed for the first kind, not the second. What de-dollarization does not mean, it does not mean the dollar collapses next year. It does not mean another currency takes over. De-dollarization is not a revolution. It is a slow structural shift from a monopoly to a multipolar reserve system. Those shifts take decades. But they start with moments exactly like this one. In 1971, the gold anchor was cut quietly on a Sunday night in a television address. Most people did not understand what had changed until they felt it in the price of everything they bought. We may be living inside a similar inflection point right now. The mechanism is the same, only the anchor has changed. Most people will never understand why their purchasing power behaves the way it does. You now do.